to capitalist profits, that is anti-racist, that is also feminist. A movement that respects the sexual diversity, the economic diversity, the racial diversity of the 99%. Because we know that the 99% are not homogeneous. There are hierarchies within the 99%. I just received a text before I came today from Barbara Becknell, whom many of you know as the person who represented Stanley Tookie Williams until his death and continues to represent him. She asked me, because she cannot be here today, to make a proposal for your consideration and for the consideration of Occupy movements all over the country. She suggests that at some point in the near future, we decide to declare a national day in solidarity with the 2.5 million prisoners and the 3,500 people who are on death row all over the country. And so what she suggests is that we have Occupy mobilizations at every major prison in this country. Now, before I finish, let me say a few words about the ILWU. Because we're here to celebrate the rank and file of the ILWU for their radical solidarities over the years. Since the port shut down, which I remember, in support of the anti-apartheid movement, since the ports shut down in solidarity with Mumia Abu-Jamal, led by Jack Hayman. Many of you remember that. You may remember the refusal of the ILWU workers to unload an Israeli ship protesting Israeli apartheid. Now, the association of Occupy Oakland with the most radical sector of the organized labor movement in this country was what made the November 2nd strike so incredible. And that reverberated all over the country. Everybody now knows, all over the world, people know Occupy Oakland. 3 weeks ago, I was in Germany and spent some time at the site of Occupy Berlin. And what they wanted to know, first of all, they wanted to know how Scott Olson was. Everybody is asking about Scott Olson. And then they wanted to know how is it possible to build a movement that is anti-capitalist, anti-racist, and feminist, a movement that stood up against police violence and racism and militarism and homophobia, environmental violence, transphobia, against capital punishment, and for the abolition of the prison industrial complex. Now today we are targeting both Goldman Sachs and EGT, Export Grain Terminal, and especially Bunga Limited. We're supporting our brothers and sisters who most directly suffer from the union-busting practices of these companies, but at the same time we make connections. Just as we make connections between racism and capitalist exploitation, between the military occupation of Afghanistan and the military occupation of Palestine, between over-incarceration and the lack of education. We also make connections between the financial oligarchies, Goldman Sachs, and the agribusiness companies, EGT, that have turned food production into a profit-yielding process. The food they provide us leads to the deterritorialization of indigenous people and African-descended people in South America, and it is destroying the environment. And the genetically modified food they offer us is killing us. All for the sake of profit. All for the sake of profit. And so we say people, not profit. We stand with workers, not capitalists. We are for education and housing, not prisons and police. We want love. We want community. We want creativity, and we want freedom.
So I just do want to add to her announcement that one of the gates was being held down this morning by truckers who saw the flyer and decided to join us. I believe somebody filmed it on YouTube. We were talking to them for a while. So I don't know if they came to the rally, but they parked their truck and joined the line. They wanted me to remind everybody that in 2004, the truckers in Oakland shut down the ports for a whole week. Now, you know, I try to stay politically in tune with what's going on in Oakland. I didn't know that. So I know most people did not know that, you know. Well, I don't know that, but I think a lot of people didn't know. They don't usually publicize our struggles. The media is not our publicist. We happen to have a situation right now where all of our struggles are able to be magnified. Not just because there's a name on it, Occupy Wall Street, but also because we're all working together and we've all identified a common enemy and a common cause to all of these problems that we've been talking about individually. So, next time the port truckers shut it down themselves for a week, I bet you that we'll have some solidarity actions that bring a lot more light to it than happened last time. Okay, the Iraq Veterans Against the War are here. You saw one of them that was here, Scott Olson. We got some spoken word from someone else in the Iraq Veterans Against the War. Everybody doing today? Thanks for coming out once again. My name is live stream to conserve battery. And I just wanted to say, you know, it's good to see people out here wanting to go down and shut down the ports. It's not like something we haven't done before, you know what I'm saying? Likely will. We've done it before in 2008 to protest the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we've done it again to protest the Israeli apartheid of Palestinians closing down the port. And once again, we're doing it today to close down the port. He's doing that right now on Ustream. His username is OAKOSH. I don't want to kick you. I don't have to let you have a way to keep viewing. So please go
because I'm going to conserve batteries for when we hit the fourth. Like I said, I think it's very important that we keep streaming in that way. So once again, going to cut off my stream. Please go visit OAK.
So I'm going to do a rap for you guys, get some energy pumping for the march, all right?